So let's dive into some Borderlands topics. Borderlands is a franchise that is near and dear to my heart. Me and my friends dived into it together for the first time way back when it first came out. I will never forget my cousin showing it to me. He's like, dude, you got to check out this game. It's really unique and very cool. It's like this niche game, blah, 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 blah. And I remember looking at it and being like, that is a really weird look for a game. And
Yep, I
did
remember that.
not
Yep.
know what I thought about it at first, but then I had more and more people telling me, you gotta play it, you gotta play it. And thanks to split screen co-op, I played it. So that being said, Fraser has put in an assload of work tonight putting this episode together, and I'm really excited to dig into the games that made us episode. So Fraser, take it away.
Yeah. Well, I came up with this amazing tagline: Borderlands.
Borderlands.
Borderlands. But Borderlands, where the loot is legendary, the stories are wild, and the psychos are screaming.
Hell yeah.
That's what I came up with. So we're just gonna dive straight into it, mate, because Borderlands 4 comes out in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of just building that hype train for us, I reckon.
Hell yeah.
Because I know that both of us are super excited. But I think it's always cool to kind of go back and talk about our experiences through Borderlands. I know that like co-op has been a big part of both of our gaming experiences. And Borderlands seems to be the name that comes, like when you talk about co-op with people, Borderlands is the name that kind of sticks out. So we are actually coming into, even though this is Borderlands 4, I'm going to include Tiny Tina's Wonderlands in this. So essentially, this is going to be the 6th entry in the Borderlands series. We got original Borderlands 2009, if you can believe it. Borderlands 2 2012. Then we got the pre-sequel, which was set between 1 and 2, which in fact is the Borderlands that I played the least. I finished it, but I didn't go back and replay it like I've done with some of the other titles. We then got Borderlands 3 in 2019. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands then came out in 2022, and so now 2025. So it looks like we get a Borderlands every 3 years, which I'm happy with, because I don't know about you, but when Borderlands comes out, I go ham on it. I don't play anything else, and I just fucking just go to town, play through the story, play through all the characters, see what I love, get all the bosses, blah 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 blah. But then when it comes time for that first DLC to drop, I'm done with Borderlands. And then the next DLC drops, and I'm like, shit, I haven't played the first one. Okay. And then another one drops. And I think we both talked about it just recently. Like, it wasn't until about 3 or 4 months ago that I even touched the first DLC from Borderlands 3. And what's that, 2019? So that first DLC would have come out like 2020.
Yep.
Ish.
And the price is also a part of that, because for me, it was a thing of I bought the standard at launch. Then they had the year 1 pass. Then they added the year 2 pass. And it felt like anytime it went on sale, it was like a whole game price in and of itself. It's a lot of content, and it's definitely a lot more Borderlands. And it's usually whoever dives into it and shares their experience always has good feedback to give. Very rarely are they not very great. I'd say Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was one of those games where it was minuscule and people weren't super hot on it. I played it and wasn't super hot on it just because it was kind of like a strike mission from Destiny, is what it felt like.
Okay.
And that was all there was to it. And then you could like do more difficulties. It was like meant for you to grind. But when the end game isn't that strong, why are you grinding so hard? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You're just grinding for that next difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
So you can grind for that next difficulty. Yeah, completely. I reckon for the DLC purposes, for me, I thought there were 2. There was one, the claptrap assassin one where you have to fight the giant claptrap. I think it's the DLC for Borderlands 1. Um, there was like some RNG collectible thing that I remember being super annoying. And then the other one was, I believe it was for Borderlands 2. There was like an arena,
Yes.
like game show. And
Yes.
again, it just took so long.
Hmm.
Like by the time that came out, like I hate to say it, but I was burnt out on
Hmm.
Borderlands. And so to come in to such a mess and like the missions were like, oh cool, survive this arena. And you're like, okay, great. And you jump in and it's like 2 hours long.
Yep.
And by the end of it, you're like, cool, well, I'm not doing that again.
Yep.
And
So I don't
ah,
I don't know all the details, but since it kind of pertains to this topic, Borderlands 4
mhm.
is it features something that's like Diablo 4 where you can skip the campaign with a new character after you beat it.
ah,
So
yeah,
as to what
that
level
is
you would
so good
be
to
after
me.
that, but I'm not sure all the details, but the idea that
Mhm.
is really cool to me because I feel like that would give you another reason to jump back into the DLC to,
Yeah,
oh, hey, I haven't played as this character yet, and it's going to take me no time at all to hit that skip button. That could be a
yeah.
huge selling point to get people to come back and replay again and again and again.
I do agree with you, but in saying that, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later, but the Borderlands end game has never been terribly strong.
True.
So using that campaign as the end game for new characters did keep me coming back and playing Borderlands possibly more than I maybe would have.
Okay. Interesting.
So if they do it right, I'm all for it. Absolutely. But like I mean, and there's nothing stopping you from it's not like they're saying we're not going to do the story. You play the story once and then you do still have that choice.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether I don't know what the end game's going to be like. I haven't looked into it much.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't
Because yeah,
either.
usually the end game is like the mayhem levels.
Hmm.
Put up the level, go back and do
Yep.
more,
Hmm.
do more, do more Borderlands, more guns, more everything. Um, so let's just start the topics off with just some real basic questions, and we can kind of just
Okay.
kind of see how this all flows through. So I guess my first question for you, Nathan, what was your first Borderlands game, and what
Borderlands 1.
was it about it? Yeah, and what was it that kind of you loved? What? Why? Why is it
Borderlands
Borderlands?
1, uh, like I said earlier, it's like my cousin showed it to me, and at first I was like, looks like a strange game. I was like, it just kind of looks like a weird looking person shooter game, and nothing about it super duper stood out to me. Um, and then it wasn't until I was at my friend's house and he was super obsessed with it, and he's like, let's play through the campaign tonight. So my first time sitting down with Borderlands was me and my friend. We sat down, played split screen, and beat the entire game in one sitting. Um,
Oh, that's so much fun. Yeah,
Absolutely fun. It was brutal, but it was so much fun. And
yeah,
I remember just being like, "Wow, we could just keep doing this." It felt like one of the few times I felt like there was this shared open world RPG experience, and that's what kind of made me fall in love with it. Was I tend to gravitate towards RPG games a lot. Those are my favorite types of games is RPGs. And to be able to share that with a friend is special. To share this
yeah,
open world with them, to have the whole leveling system together and find all these new guns and stuff, and you see a treasure box and you start racing to it to see who's going to get the loot first, and that's what made me fall in love with it. And it took me a minute, but once I like really saw the appeal of the art style, there was no longer looking at it as a weird art style. It's like this game has some really freaking cool, unique art style that I love. It's kind of like a comic book, and I love looking at people's cosplays of Borderlands. I think that's
yeah,
so fun. But yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of what made me fall in love with Borderlands. I know some people, it's all about the guns and the different kinds and constantly. That's what my friend's favorite part of it was every time
Hmm.
he picks something up or kills somebody, he gets a brand new experience with a gun. That was
Yeah.
what drew him. What about you, Frizz?
Yeah. I was the same. Borderlands One was the first one that I ever played. I like you said, you had a friend that you used to work with, and like all you'd talk about was like Dragon Age, or you'd talk about the next game that was coming out. I worked with someone very similar, and we both had an Xbox 360. And again, he had this game and was like, "Dude, you got to try Borderlands." And I was like, "Cool." So at lunchtime, we jumped in the car and we went out. We went down to the shop, and I bought my copy of Borderlands. Went home, threw it in the console. Both of us took the next day off,
Hell
and
yeah,
we
that's
both
awesome.
we both called in sick and played Borderlands all day.
That's
I'll
awesome.
never fit like you said, the art style. The art style was what grabbed me because it kind of had like a gritty, grimy kind of I'd stopped watching
Mhm.
Dragon Ball Z by that point, but it reminded me of Dragon Ball Z. It reminded me of like it looked kiddie,
Yeah.
but then when you played it, you're like, this is insane.
No.
That opening scene with that music, I think it's Cage the Elephant that do the music for that first Borderlands.
Yeah.
Meeting like Dr. Z for the first time, meeting Marcus, like all of these characters were just so over the top and so crazy. And so yeah, for me, it was the co-op experience,
Mhm.
the rushing home and just jumping on with my friend who is actually like we're still mates, and he we never talk to each other until something Borderlands related is coming out, and then
Yeah.
my Facebook will pop off and be like, "We playing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro." And then we spend the next you'll obviously meet my friend Jamie when we play Borderlands
Oh,
together.
hell yeah.
He'll be there.
Oh, awesome.
He's a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, so that was me. It was Borderlands. It was the split screen. It was the co-op. It was just the nothing. I'd never really experienced anything like it before. That kind of looter shooter.
Mhm.
Whether there were others out there or not, like this was my first experience. And like you said, you get a gun. It's different. It's different to the gun that old mate got. Like, and yeah, and so we both played it on the 360. I bought one of those memory cards, and so I put my save and my profile on the memory card, and we'd go to work, and I'd go around to his house after work, and we'd just play Borderlands, or he'd come to my house and we'd play Borderlands, and it was just Borderlands all the time.
That's
So
awesome.
good,
I love it.
so good. Yeah.
S
Well, I guess that goes on to my next question.
yeah.
Do you prefer playing solo or you're a co-op boy?
So, clearly, definitely co-op.
Yeah.
That is definitely the preferred way to play the game. But as I'm sitting back thinking about our time with the game and experiences, I remember kind of always missing the funny thing because me and my friend were talking so much and talking over top of the game. And sometimes you miss the good jokes or hear what was said, and you can't really appreciate the how funny it is or the narrative that's going on. So
Yeah.
while yes, I prefer it on co-op, there is a good part of it when you play it by yourself because there's a lot of stuff you catch. I just remember the first time I played Borderlands 2 with him, and he was laughing all the time, but I was never laughing, or I sometimes I'd catch things and laugh at it, but I remember really feeling like I
Oh,
experienced it for the first time the second time I played it. So
yep.
I will
Yep.
say it's kind of a give and take. You know, if you play it on co-op, you're definitely going to have the best time with the game, but if you play it by yourself, I think you'll appreciate the uniqueness of its storytelling.
Yes. Yep. I'm very much the same as you. Um, I have this. I will never jump in with randoms
Mhm.
to play games often. If my friends aren't on, I'll play solo.
Okay.
So, like I did, I played most of Borderlands 3 solo. I played like Tiny Tina's Wonderland co-op. I played Borderlands 1 co-op. Borderlands 2 was a mixture of both. The pre-sequel I played mostly solo. I actually did a lot of the Borderlands pre-sequel on the Switch. I didn't some reason I didn't goof off to it when it came out. Maybe I was just Borderlands out at
Yeah.
the time. Um, but yeah, so that's me. I would prefer to play it co-op,
Mhm.
but solo, it's just as good
Yeah,
solo.
it
And I
is.
remember like that first time you're running over the thing and Claptrap pops up and he's just crying and he's like, "It's so beautiful. The double rainbow. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful."
I
And
forgot
like
about
just
that.
so good. So good.
Oh,
Okay, so moving on. How do we feel the series has evolved since the first game? Are we happy with the direction that Borderlands is going?
yes. I do feel that they understand what their audience wants. I understand why people were not thrilled with 3 just because they waited so long and it was just simply more. However, that is exactly what we asked for. That is what the fans wanted. We just wanted more Borderlands. There are
Yeah.
perfectly great critiques out there of the game. Um, and, we talked about that a little bit on our last episode of how we just weren't fans of the villains. We weren't fans of the story. Um, didn't really click well with like the main characters of the game. So I think that's kind of important because I feel like the first group of characters from the first game were phenomenal. And with each
Yeah.
game, it kind of gets a little less remember memorable. Borderlands 2 was
Mhm.
great. I personally, that was my favorite group of characters or like cast of
Yep.
characters. But
Yep.
as far as how it's progressed, I do personally, this is just me, and it's more of a different take. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was a great switch up. I loved the differences that they brought to it. I think Borderlands 4 is going to answer everything that I've ever wanted from the franchise. So I think that it has progressed to the right points. Um, it's evolved very well for what kind of game it is. I'd say the only thing that I'm not impressed by personally, and this is just me, is the bragging of certain guns or like this is how many millions of like who's gonna play with that many guns? I haven't experienced like I never got to a
Yeah.
point with Borderlands 1 where I felt like, oh, I experienced most of the guns in the game. So every time a new Borderlands game would come out and they would brag about how many types of weapons there were, that was not a brag to me. That was like, oh, okay, like that's just a higher number that I was never going to hit anyways. Was my
Yep.
response to it. So,
Yep.
to me, that doesn't impress me. The Borderlands 4 being like, hey, you're going to be able to customize your weapons or use things that you want or don't like, get dismantle, whatever. That
Mm.
is what I wanted to hear. So I am
Yeah.
excited for that. But how about you, Freeze?
Yeah. I'm really excited where the direction's going. I think like you said, when with Borderlands, all we want is more. Give us more, but also like how they've given us more now with the attachments. Keep the guns at 1,000,000, but just do the attachments thing. Don't add more and then more on top of more. Um, yeah, I think my only like kind of non-enjoyment part of 3 was the story and the villains and the characters. Um, really couldn't have cared less about any of it, but the gameplay was so much fun that it kept me coming back and kept me coming back. And it wasn't until we got the DLC stuff where the stories were different. Like that love guns and tentacles, brilliant
Yeah.
DLC. Absolutely brilliant. Like I'm a huge horror fan, so like introducing like Cthulhu and stuff into it, so cool, so cool. So yeah, that's for me. I'm happy. I'm happy with the way we're going. I really enjoyed Tiny Tina's. I've got some Tiny Tina related questions coming up, so we'll definitely hit those. But yeah, happy days. I guess that leads on to favorite entry in the series. Which one?
That's a good question. Um, I feel like
It can be a DLC. It can be
ah,
a
okay.
whatever. Yep.
I gotta say, Borderlands 2 is the one that always sticks out to me the most. That is the one I experienced the most with friends. I enjoyed the DLC the most from that one. I enjoyed the characters they added. I feel like so many things about Borderlands 2 stuck with me on a level that I'll never forget, especially like I always talk about the Psycho trailer. Oh, what a legendary trailer. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
the other game, if it's not that one, it's going to be Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I I really love that game. I love the cast of characters. I love, like, Andy Samberg's like my favorite comedian out there. So
Hmm.
to have him in it was perfect. I thought there was great chemistry with all the characters. I love the D&D aspect. So it's like,
Yeah.
as a standalone game, and one, like, if I had to choose to play a game by myself and sit down, it would be Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I would play through that again by myself in a heartbeat. That game was
Yeah.
so cool. I love some of the side quests and some of the references they would make to other medieval games. No spoilers, but that was just my favorite part of the game, was the story, and it was the game that made me laugh the most, maybe outside of Tales of the Borderlands, the Telltale game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, if we're playing with friends, Borderlands 2. If we're playing by ourselves, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Cool. That's great answer. I I kind of almost forgot about the Tales of the Borderlands.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I love how they're canon as well.
Hmm.
Like they include like all of those characters are in three.
Yeah.
And they're in Tiny Tina's, and it's like this is so cool. I I love the direction that they went with Tiny Tina's, like how they kind of introduced it. It was it during 2 or 3? The
I
Tiny
th-
Tina's assault on Dragon's Keep. I think that was
y-
2, wasn't it?
yes. Yeah. I no. I think it was just a
Um,
standalone. Like, it was after 2, and it was like a
I
$15
Yeah,
DLC,
I think,
but that was
like,
standalone.
originally wasn't it with I feel like originally it was with one of the games, and then they re-released it as a standalone. Maybe.
Oh.
I might be wrong with that, but I remember playing the Assault on Dragon's Keep a lot earlier than now. Like, because
Okay.
just before Borderlands 3 came out, they kind of maybe they gave it a gen update,
Yeah.
or something, because I remember it came out just before Borderlands 3, and
Hmm.
it was like, "Here's something to tide you over until Borderlands 3 comes out." Um, but yeah, I love Tiny Tina as a character. She is brilliant. Um, yeah, and so for her to get her own game and have
Yeah.
that stand out was so good. But like you, 2, I'm gonna have to say that I can't go past 2.
Hmm.
The story was heartbreaking. The villain, Handsome Jack, I think, like, I toss up my villains between the Nemesis from Resident Evil 3
Okay.
and Handsome Jack as being my possible favorite villains of all time.
Oh wow.
And old mate from Far Cry 5.
Ah,
Fuck, what's his
I thought
name?
you were gonna say Far Cry 3 Voss. You're
Now
thinking of the
Vas was
father.
cool.
The father.
The father, yep.
Mhm.
Why is his name's like slipping my mind at the moment? Joseph Seed.
Ah,
Um
yes, you're right. You're right.
he
Yep.
he so those are my top 3 favorite villains. And
Yep.
so Borderlands 2, the characters were fun. Everything was fun. I will say though that Borderlands 2 was probably my most like solo part of Borderlands, my Borderlands kind of time.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, I'm gonna say 2
Okay.
has to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Last question in this kind of little area of questions. So Borderlands kind of being a looter shooter, how do we feel it compares to other looter shooters like Destiny or The Division?
So if I'm being, I would say not super great. And this is
Yeah.
just my own
No.
opinions and my own feelings
Yep.
on it, but
Throw it out there, my friend.
my
Throw it out there.
taking into account everything I just said about the whole entire gun aspect and how many guns you get and yada yada yada, I that since that's a weak point for me, that's why I would say that it does not hold well in comparison to Destiny 2 or The Division. The Division, if we were to rank these, Destiny would be at the top of the board, Division would be second, and then Borderlands would be at the bottom. Um,
Yeah.
Now I would understand why people would have a problem with that, just because well, hey, you get all these different guns with all these different elements with all these different yada yada yada. And to me, my first playthrough through the first Borderlands was kind of just, it was fun because I was with somebody. I never really found a gun that I liked until like 3/4 of the way through my playthrough. And the same thing
Yeah.
can be said for Borderlands 2, because I think it was my second or third character I was not having a great time with, because every time I'd find a gun that suit me somewhat well, it was then too old. Couldn't upgrade it. Couldn't
Yeah.
take it
Yep.
with me as I
Yep.
leveled up. So then I was like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna have to use whatever gun fits my level, and I'm not digging this gun. So that was the thing that I feel like it held it back from other games such as Destiny, because at least with Destiny, when you find that gun you love, you can continue to level up with you. Um, it still has the elements of, here's the exotic, here's the legendary, here's the uncommons, things of that nature. So, that's like almost just a baseline of what you would expect from a looter shooter. So,
Yep.
for them to have a vast optional array of guns that I can access and level up with me. And yes, I don't know what I'm going to get when I complete this strike mission, but I do know what I'm looking for. I do know what I'm hoping to get. I do know the drop rates in these areas and that areas. With
Mm-hmm.
Borderlands, you got to really fucking geek out if you're going to know what boss drops what and what's the drop rates. And even at that, that's more of the end game content. That is more of like, you
Yeah.
are completely leveled up, you are farming this boss, and the drop rate's extremely low. So you're just fighting the same dude over and over and over again. And yes, that is the definition of a looter shooter. But again, the drop rates are so low and the guns are so vast and different that you just kind of almost feel the drive to want to do it and the drive to want to keep farming is a lot harder to find the willpower for, as opposed to a game like The Division or Destiny. So that is
Yep.
my reasoning behind why I feel Borderlands is the lesser of those three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mate, you speak in words there, my friend. I'm very much in the same boat.
Are you really?
I with a million guns, 999,000 of them are useless.
Mm,
Like, there's still only that, maybe a hundred out of that million that you're really gonna want to keep.
mm.
Um, boy, don't Bungie know how to make a shooter?
They do.
Holy dooly! Like the sh- the shooting in Destiny,
So good.
it's a whole nother thing we can talk about. But like, it's done so well. Now, I think my two are probably flipped around for me. Division first, Destiny second, Borderlands third. The reason for me, a looter shooter, I need a reason to get that next gun. Borderlands never gave me that reason. The other ones are like, cool, we've got a new raid coming out. Get ready for it. All right, shit, I need to go out and get all these guns to make sure I'm ready for this raid. We've got some new strikes coming. We've got some high value targets coming that need to be taken out by these sort of weapons. Like this next maybe like I know we've talked previously about like how sick of live action, sorry, of live service games we are, but like I feel like a looter shooter thrives being live service. Just having that constant refresh of new stuff, new reasons to come back to kill things, new reasons to get these weapons. Borderlands never gave me that. Borderlands was like, cool, you've got you've got some guns, you've got some things. We've gone through this beautiful story. Everything's tied up in a nice little bow. I don't need to come back
Mm.
until there's DLC. But then the DLC introduces a billion more guns. So everything that I had was useless anyway. So it kind of, yeah, yeah,
Okay. It's crazy we're on the same
that's
boat
me.
with that one because I feel like we're in the minority for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Um, yeah. That's it. Like maybe, string me up, whatever. But if
Yeah.
Borderlands was a live service and they were constantly giving us new things, I'm in.
I mean, hey, I haven't taken a moment to like really sit down and study what the end game content's going to be because they did come out with a list
No.
and there's going to be a
Yeah.
whole bunch of stuff to do after the
Cool.
game is over.
Yeah.
So part of me
Yeah.
almost wonders like are you guys treating this like a live service even considering like
Hmm.
this is a 70 $80 game and you're offering content like it's a live service. That's what I
Yeah.
love to hear. And
Yeah.
I am perfectly okay. I know this is a touchy subject with how it's been handled on X, but I will say I understand the price tag when you are not charging a monthly fee and you are not charging for all these microtransactions, but you are adding so much content. Now I understand why you have such a large price tag. That makes
Hmm.
sense to me. What does not make
Yeah.
sense to me is just saying 80, $90, no context. We worked really hard on this game. Like everybody
Mm.
works hard on their game. You're going to need to give more reason than that, you know?
Yeah. And then every 3 months, we you need to drop in $15 to like get the
Mhm.
cool new shit. I
Mhm.
mean, who knows? Who
Yep.
knows where it's going to go?
Yep.
But anyway, we'll keep trucking along because we got some things to go through. So, favorite Vault Hunter?
Um, probably it's got to be Psycho from Borderlands 2. He's my favorite. I just freaking loved him. His
Yeah.
wacky.
Krieg?
Yes,
Yeah.
Krieg. Krieg, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
His dialogue just constantly
Oh,
made me
so
laugh.
funny.
You
Yeah.
know me. I've got such a dumb sense of humor. I really appreciate stupid sense of humor, and the
Yeah.
more random, the better. So for him to just randomly be like, meat, like I just like okay, like we're just chilling,
Yeah.
but okay, that was just I love it. I loved his style of humor and everything. Um, I think I liked playing as Zero the best throughout the whole franchise. I know he was like a very
Yeah.
bland, neutral character, but I built a very good build with him, and I was like one shot critting everything. I love that build. So
Yeah.
I do have some other ones that I stick out to me, but yeah, it's got to be Krieg. How about you?
I got two that
Oh
are
yeah,
I couldn't decide. So number one is Claptrap from the
ah
pre-sequel. I thought the whole idea of playing as Claptrap was so silly.
yeah,
That is what Borderlands is. Borderlands is silly.
yeah.
His special just being random, like his ultimate just being a random thing that happens. Sometimes it's actually really terrible, and sometimes it's absolutely amazing. I loved the silliness
Yeah.
of him. I definitely don't think they had explored him as much as they could have, being a playable character.
Mhm.
Um, and then my other one was Flack from Borderlands 3. He
Okay.
was so much fun. Just the different ways you could build him. Um, the I started off with the pets, went like just bananas with the pets, having all the pets. And then I found a certain Jacob's gun, and you could do a full like crit build with flak where the first bullet in every magazine did like stupid damage, and this particular rifle that I found only had one round in the magazine, so every single time I reloaded it was this like
Mm.
insane crit monster. um Pretty much broke the game for me, but again, so much fun just trying to
Yeah.
figure all that stuff out. So I reckon Flack and Claptrap gotta
Yeah.
be. I don't know, mate. Handsome Jack's clone was pretty funny as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
but yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Dude, see,
yeah,
the prequel I never played. I
yeah.
played a little bit of it, but
Mm-hmm.
because my friends kept play I remember we were so excited. We all gathered around. We were going to pull an all-nighter. My tired ass fell asleep like maybe an hour in, and they kept
Yeah.
playing all night without me. So I was left out.
No.
I was left out. Like
Yeah,
they were too high leveled. We tried really hard the next day for them to just carry me, but I was getting one shot by everything. It just wasn't fun. And so
yeah.
yeah, it just got to the point where like they were all hanging out in my room playing the game and I was playing my own thing.
Oh, Nathan, that's so
It's
sad.
so sad. But I have it
uh,
downloaded on my Xbox because my brother-in-law's
yeah,
partner, that is
yeah.
their favorite game. And
Oh,
so
wow.
they
Yeah,
were talking about how much they love it. And so I downloaded it. And yeah, so sometime when they're over, we'll have to dive into some split screen.
yeah. I've been meaning to go back, and because I played it on the Switch mostly.
Yeah.
Um, I'd love to go back and play it again on the Xbox at some point. So that's definitely on the cards. All right, moving on. Um, I've kind of already answered this question, but what are your thoughts on Handsome Jack?
Best villain ever.
Yeah,
I mean, he
such a
sticks
sad
with me.
story, eh? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. I
yeah,
I love Handsome Jack. Every time his face popped up, I got real excited. I was like, "What crazy out of pocket shit is he gonna say next?"
yeah.
Um,
The like
it's just
butt stallion.
the butt stallion. Oh,
Yeah,
love the butt stallion.
right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely high up there in my favorite villains of all time. I'm right there with you. I don't think I've ever sat down to really figure out who are my favorite video game villains of all time, but Handsome Jack, he's got to be in the top 5. Easy.
Yeah. Easy. And then I guess moving on, possibly the franchise's most hated character. But what are your thoughts on Claptrap? Like, what are you like? Gun to your head. What does he bring?
So, I understand why people are annoyed. I definitely there were times where I was annoyed by him, but I feel like Claptrap has somewhat lost again, take into account I haven't played the prequel. I feel like Claptrap kind of lost his charm after 2. I remember in 2 him like making me bust a gut laughing because I remember him
Mm,
being I think it was it Sanctuary was the area where it was like you had all the shops and Moxie's bar and all that stuff.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember him being there and always so excited to go see him. Like I was Handsome Jack to see his face pop up. I was always so excited to go to Claptrap and see what like out of pocket shit he was gonna do next or say next. And he'll like take you wandering around on these stupid ass missions, and you're like, why did I just waste my time? And then you just end up having to like laugh about it and just keep moving on. So
Yeah.
I loved him in 1 and 2, and past that, I was just kind of like felt like we were dragging a dead horse with us, and I was like,
Yeah.
I miss the old Claptrap. He
Yeah.
just feels
Yeah.
annoying now. So
I Interesting. Yeah. I so in the silly world of Borderlands, I thought that Claptrap brought the comic relief to an already comic relieved thing.
yeah.
Like they kind of set a bar of silliness, and then they're like, "Cool, Claptrap's going to be the comic relief." And some of the things that he said were just so funny, like the stairs thing when you're charging to that final battle and you get to the thing and he's like stairs.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just so good. And then in Borderlands 3, that whole thing of like actually Claptrap's the main character of this game and you're just his sidekick
Yeah.
and you have to go around and collect armor for him and like do all the things and he's like onward sidekick. I thought, oh,
Yeah.
utterly brilliant. I hope they do him justice.
I hope
I
so
know
too.
what you mean though. He is annoying and he does seem like a character that they kind of like, oh, we got to have Claptrap, but what's the point in him now?
Yeah.
Originally he was like, your kind of guide through the Borderlands. And then he kind of became this main character, almost like R2D2, for instance. Like he's there, and he's somehow just all of a sudden he's every single Jedi's droid.
Hmm.
Like how there's supposed to be thousands and thousands of Vault Hunters, yet somehow Claptrap's always your droid.
Hmm. He went from being a
um,
staple to being he has to be here
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
Borderlands. So here he is.
yeah. Here he is, and yeah, you're right. He does feel forced now.
Mhm,
I think before he was funny because he was new,
mhm.
and now he's just kind of annoying.
Yep. Now,
Ah,
time for Claptrap to
amazing!
catch a ride.
Catch a ride. All right, I guess next question. Have you got any standout NPCs
Shooty McShoot
that
himself.
just need?
Shooty McShoot
Yeah,
face. Yep.
Shooty McFace shooter. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, and also you can't go past Moxie. Like
Ah,
she's
yes.
something else,
Yeah.
isn't
Oh,
she?
dude, what am I talking about? Dude, Tiny Tina. Tiny Tina's fucking hilarious. She's probably my
Yeah,
favorite character in the entire franchise. I
yeah,
Tiny Tina, hands down. Hands down.
yeah,
I don't know why I
yeah.
said
All right,
shoot.
close everything down. Tiny
Yep.
Tina.
Oh,
Oh,
that DLC in
amazing. All right.
Borderlands 2 with Tiny Tina, that was probably my
Yeah,
favorite out of all the DLCs.
yeah, yeah. When she just introduced, and you're like, who's this
Yeah.
little kid? And then
Hmm.
she's like, hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah.
love
Oh,
Tiny Tina.
amazing. All right, moving on. Do you have a favorite type of weapon or manufacturer?
Bro, if you held a gun to my head and say name more than one, I'd be like Jacobs and and then I would die. So not really.
Fair
I
enough.
mean,
Fair
I
enough. Yeah.
probably gonna be Jacobs because
Yeah.
Hyperion was one of them. Um, I
Yeah.
felt like the more wacky it got, the less I was pumped to use it, and I felt like Jacobs
Mm-hmm.
was always a good crit damage gun. You'd have either revolvers or a assault rifle or the single chamber guns, and I always loved
Yeah.
all of those. I remember using pistols a
Yeah.
lot in all of my Borderlands playthroughs. So that would definitely be it because I felt like some of the other brands of guns would do high elemental damage and be very specifically catered to a specific skill tree.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
typically it's like you've got to really cross your fingers and hope for the best that you've got the exact. And I was never trying to aim towards one element ever and in any
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
playthroughs. So I think that's probably why. Um,
Yeah.
but did
Well, I think
that
a lot of those. Yep.
no, I was
Sorry.
just going to ask you. I was like, did that hit for you or?
Yep. So I think a lot of the earlier games, definitely characters were kind of designed to use certain weapons. Like I remember the SMGs were like there was a skill tree for SMGs with the siren in the first one. And towards 3 they kind of phased that out where kind of any person could use any gun, which I'm all about.
Mhm.
I don't want to be stuck to using pistols because I chose this particular
Yep,
character.
100%.
Um for the latest, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 3 recently just to get through those DLCs that I never got to. Dahl, the straight up military assault rifles have got incredibly good accuracy, and some of them have got a cheeky elementalness to them. But I would always, no matter what I was using, if a dial gun dropped, I would stop what I was doing and see what it was. Um, I also love. I hate the guns themselves, but Torg, Mister Torg, is fucking funny. He like the explosions guy, and he's just got no shirt on, and he's just like explosions,
Yeah.
picks,
Yeah.
guitar solos, explosions.
Yeah.
Actually, another brilliant NPC,
Mhm.
Mister Torg. Like I need
Yep.
more. I need more Torg. Because
100%.
we got the Torg DLC. I think it was 2, Mister Torg's Explosion Funland or whatever it was called. Um, and then we got Jacobs with Love, Guns, and Tentacles. We got the Jacobs backstory. I'd like to see some other backstories. I didn't like the bandit guns, the COV guns from 3. They kind of didn't feel like they fit anywhere. Like the other manufacturers were manufacturers. Like these were just like bandit weapons that kind of had unlimited magazines and they had cooldowns and very, very odd. But yeah, I do have one standout weapon though. I can't remember what game it was from, but you got this weapon. It was an SMG and it was is it Talador that have the when you to reload it, you throw it and it does a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Um, this one you would throw and it would sprout legs and it would chase you around like a turret.
Yeah. I remember
Just
that.
so
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got it from like this giant brain thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I used that for quite a while. And
I,
then there was also a Halloween event for 3 that gave you an awesome grenade. It was like you would throw it and like homing skulls would come out and
oh, that's
destroy.
sick.
Um, yeah,
Man,
can't
you
remember
remember
what it
a
was
lot
called
more
though, but
guns
yeah,
than
that.
I do. Because I will say that the throwing the clip one, I remember using quite a bit. I can't remember what
Yeah,
the brand is, but I do remember like you could set up a pretty good build to where you were just constantly throwing grenades. Shoot off a shot, throw a grenade. Shoot off a shot, throw a grenade. That was such a
yeah,
powerful build.
yeah. Amazing, amazing. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is going to be where we spend a bit of time. What do we think about the randomized loot system? Is it addictive or overwhelming?
Overwhelming.
I can, yeah, I'm the same. Overwhelming, unnecessary. I like the idea of it, but just fucking 99 out of 100 guns are just going straight in the trash.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
don't even I don't even look at them.
Yep.
I won't even like look at the stats. I'm like rubbish, 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 rubbish. Oh, my backpack's full.
Do you ever play with a friend that will sit there and have to go through all of the stats of every
Yes.
gun they just
Yes,
picked
I
up?
do.
Oh,
Yep.
buddy.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
I just carry on. I
yep.
leave them behind. If you're gonna look through your stuff, great. I'm not. I've got my dial. Let's get
Yeah.
out of here.
Oh my gosh. See, I remember being with this friend and we loved playing with him. We loved him, great guy. But when we played Diablo with him and we played Borderlands with him, we were like, dude, come on, please. And there was this one time we were in a GameStop together and we were talking with the dude, just bullshitting with the clerk. And I was yeah, I got through X game or whatever in a certain amount of time. And he's like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I was like, yeah, I was like, I feel like I can pretty much get an understanding of the game mechanics of something, how it works really quickly. And, I was kind of bragging about how quickly I could get through games and stuff. Because back in the day, I definitely could. But he goes around, my buddy's standing there. He's like, yeah, he just doesn't take time to sit down and enjoy games like I do. I was like, no, I just don't read every stat of every gun. I was like so offended.
Oh, that's
It's
so
like, what are
funny.
you talking about?
That's so
But
funny.
I don't want to be a broken record with everything I've already said about the gun system. So I
Mm.
will say
But that's what Borderlands is.
it
That's
is.
what it is. So we need to talk about it.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing about when it comes to the first game, it's like I'm not going through the stats. I am picking up a lot of useless guns. And it's like I'm not going to be sitting here messing around with every single weapon that I pick up. And why Borderlands does the whole entire here's 700 times 3,000 damage. Like that makes it so much more complicated because I'll sit there and I'll look at the stats and it will be pretty upfront and blatant as to what the stats are. But then this other gun has a green mark up, suggesting that it's better than the one equipped, but yet the stats doesn't make sense. I'm like, how could this possibly be more powerful? But sometimes I'd pick one with
Yeah.
worse stats and I'd have a better time with it. So it just
Yeah.
added to the confusion. And again, I think it adds to the overwhelmingness of it all because it's like, why can't you just be upfront with me about what the exact stats are? This gun does 1,000 damage. This gun does 800 damage. It's easy peasy. This is a shotgun, so clearly, it's going to have 3,000 damage, but short range. Like, why do we have to make it overly complicated? That adds to the overwhelmingness of all of the guns there are. And when you are talking about having an open world game with multiple dots on the screen and you're overwhelmed by your objectives, I don't want to be overwhelmed by the guns and the amount of stats with each said gun. Let's dumb it down. Let's simplify it. Um, yeah, I think this is where people might take issue with me saying this. It's like, okay, well, we're not stupid. We don't need, we don't want a dumbed down game. I'm not saying it needs to be dumbed down. I'm saying it needs to at least be a little more simplified so that we can keep it from being overwhelming. But that's all I have to say about the
Yep.
gun situation.
Yep. Exactly the same, man. Exactly the same. I am excited that we're getting gun uh like customization
Yeah.
essentially. How we're getting more attachments and more things. But again, is that just gonna I just want I don't need the whole write up about each gun. Like, how about we just use it and see what it does?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been certain times where, like you said, the stats are not as good as the gun I've got now, but somehow it's better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, maybe is there a breakdown in communication of like there's just so much random stuff going on that it just misses something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we'll skip the next couple of questions because we
Okay.
are starting to run into the red. Um, we'll jump quickly into Tiny Tina's just to have a bit of a change of scenery. What do we think about Tiny Tina as a spin-off? Did it live up to the hype?
For me,
Because there was
yes.
a lot of hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it did live up to the hype. I don't even play
Yeah.
Dungeons and not Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm.
Um, uh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, it is Dungeons and Dragons. I don't even play
No, it
Dungeons
is.
and
Yeah.
Dragons, and
Yeah.
I appreciated it for what it was. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
loved the whole entire you got the board aspect to it. I felt like that helped with its overwhelming sense of like, okay, now I'm going to this location and I am going to go into this board. One of the things when I was playing Expedition 33, current game of the year, uh, is the similarities between its open world map to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands map. I think I even messaged you about that, how it was kind of
Hmm.
jarring. And it made me have more of an appreciation for the execution of how it was done in Tiny Tina's and how it's like narratively this makes sense. And also it's fun to be in. Um, I know some of my friends disagree with me on that. Um, but like I said, it's like with Expedition 33, it felt jarring to me that you're like having to go into this open world map and walk around with these characters. Like it somewhat unimmersed me from the experience that was probably one of my biggest complaints about Expedition 33, was I just was not a
Yeah.
big fan of that map, and how you navigate that. So yeah, I think it absolutely lived up to the hype, and I also feel like it went back to its roots with its humor. It went back to a
Hmm.
little more Borderlands 2 style humor, and they were not aiming to be like, we have to have Claptrap here, we have to have good chemistry here. And I feel like they had
Yeah.
fantastic chemistry. Tiny Tina's was true to her character. So yeah, I absolutely, I feel like it hit the hype mark.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you. My only um kind of downside to Tiny Tina's was I wish they hadn't bought in guns. Like it they just stayed melee and magic. We can have there's enough there to be melee and magic.
Mhm.
It became, oh, this is just more Borderlands for me. Which again, I know we've said that that's what we want, and that's what we, I kind of feel like I'm contradicting myself here. But I was having so much fun with it, and then it just became oh, cool, let's just go guns.
Yeah.
And I just started not worrying about the melee and not worrying about the magic and like just using guns.
Mm.
And it's just another Borderlands. But there's nothing wrong with that. It felt like a really, really cool new Borderlands.
Yeah.
And I think that is why for me it did so well, is because it was much of the same, but different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess like that leads me on to the next question. I'm going to skip a few, but go back to the ones. Do we want or need another Tiny Tina's Wonderland, or should they just take what was so good about it and just introduce it to Borderlands? Like, do we need a split in the series?
Yes, I think so, because
Yep.
I love your idea of why aren't we going more melee? Like, have a franchise over here testing the waters with new things, and then
Yep.
finding how can we implement those new things into the mainline game that people would love. Because I don't think everybody who picks up at Tiny Tina's is everybody who's going to be picking up the next mainline Borderlands game. So I do think Tiny Tina's gives you that chance to explore creatively new things. I never actually sat down and watched from beginning to end the showcase for Borderlands 4, so I don't know if they're bringing back the
No.
map system. Um, I would be fine with it if they did. Um, but when it comes to Tiny Tina's, the next installment of that, it also gives another narrative reason to bring on more people like Andy Samberg. Like, you don't have to have him specifically back, but to keep
Mm.
the arguably the most beloved character aside from like maybe Moxie and Claptrap and things like that. Arguably one of the best characters in the franchise, have her stick around and a narrative reason for her to be there and to run a
Yep.
game and be in the back of your voice and talking into your ear throughout the entire game, kind of like Handsome Jack was in 2. And I
Yep.
think they've struggled to find a place for Handsome Jack ever since his departure from 2, right? So this gives
Yep.
you a reason to have a good, solid character in every game, something you can rely on narratively, something you can rely on to, like, I know what kind of sense of humor I'm coming here for. Um, but yeah, I absolutely do think that there's a place for it. I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that there's a second one coming. So
Cool.
I would be
Yeah.
very excited for that. That is something I would 100% be down to play.
Yeah. Great. I'm much the same as you. It seems like we're on the same page, man. Just on everything. Like we've just been talking through like Assassin's Creed recently,
Yeah.
right? I haven't thought or talked about Assassin's Creed so much in my life, except the past like few months.
Yeah.
And the series did start to get stale.
Mhm.
And then they did that massive shakeup between Syndicate and Origins. I feel like that's what Tiny Tina's was. because I think Borderlands 3 was a bit stale. We asked for more, we got more. We got what we asked for. But it wasn't quite enough because it didn't it like people are still like, oh, Borderlands 2 is better. So Tiny Tina's Wonderland was that kind of drop of fresh air, that breath of fresh air of like, this is new, this is amazing. We got melee, we got the multi-class system, so like we can combine different, we can like really, really get crazy with our builds.
Yeah.
Like we're not just like locked into one skill tree anymore. We can grab skill trees from different characters, we can combine and make our own full on like RPG experience.
Yeah.
That's what I want to bring over from Tiny Tina's.
Yeah.
But I want another one, 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need to bring melee into Borderlands.
Yeah.
Maybe just keep it at Tiny Tina's. And
Hopefully,
just
crossing fingers, they take a page out of Doom: The Dark Ages. That would be cool.
give us a shield. Give
a
us
shield.
some
parry system.
Yeah. Fuck. Give us a shield. I'm here. I am here. So yeah, we are starting to run way over time. So let's just skip a whole bunch of these questions. I guess my last, do you have what's your hottest take on the Borderlands series? Give it to us straight, Nathan. Hottest take, unpopular opinion.
It's funny because I want to say what we've been talking about this whole time with the guns, because I do feel like that is what everybody really loves about the game is guns, 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 and all these different options. And like I said, a lot of my friends feel that way.
Yeah. Okay. So like for me, like we've been talking about this whole time, less is actually more when it comes to guns for me. Don't give me 10 billion. Give me 500,000, but give them good. Make them all good. Make it so I do struggle with what I want to use. I don't want a standout, this is the best gun. I guess another one for me is we don't always have to be the good guys.
Yeah.
Make us the bad guys.
Yeah.
That'd be something different.
That would be a good one.
Like make me a selfish person. These Vault Hunters don't need to be a team. We can be fighting against each other. Like we can be, a bunch of unruly heroes thrown in together. I want the Vault. I want it for myself. I don't want it because it's going to save the world.
Yeah.
But then I guess the other thing is, we talk about the Vault and all the riches. It's just guns.
Yeah, it's just more guns.
They're not the riches. What are these riches you're talking about? We're gonna, we're opening the vault to save the world. Oh, it's just some more guns. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know what? I tell you what, my hot take is going to be that let's not talk about a vault. Like I just feel like it's a very bland, basic story. I would love to have something more complex, something more than just we're all racing to get to the vault. I think that would be a lot more interesting. Let's talk about something else. I did like Tiny Tina's approach to the story. But yeah, I feel like something, I know you're Vault Hunters and that's the whole synopsis of the game. I get that. But like, I would absolutely love to see a different end goal or a different focus, I guess, than just who can get the biggest treasure that saves the world. And like you said, it's like, it's just guns. Once you get there, like you're saving the world with more guns. How does that even make sense? I know this game isn't necessarily all about making sense, but still, like, I don't know. Just give me more of a motive to be like, oh, I really want to see what happens at the end of this. Again, I think that's part of the reason why 2 is so good, because you don't think about 2, you don't think about the vault at the end of the game. You think about Handsome Jack and everything he did to try to stop you along the way, and like that
Yeah.
was the focus of that game. That's what stood out about that game. It was never the story. It was never the concept of who can get to the treasure first.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and just because, and I talk about this a lot, just because 3 didn't do it well, the lesson to be learned there for the developers is not, oh, well, we need to go back to focusing on the ball. No, 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 no. You just need to take the right lessons. People did not like your villains. They didn't like your characters. The main characters were weak. There's a lot of reasons that people are saying they didn't care for this game, and it has nothing to do with, oh, you know, they didn't like the focus on the
There
vault. They didn't like the focus on the story focus. No, that's like
weren't enough guns.
I guess there just wasn't enough guns. Yeah, seriously. So it's like, again, let's try to learn the right lessons from these games going into the future. That Borderlands 4, it's like we are here for a good time with good villains, and it's not about the overall synopsis of the story staying the same as the original. It is about, like, we want something new and fresh and bold. And if you stick with
Yeah.
a basic ass storyline of, like, let's race to the vault, and also here's this character who's clearly trying to do too much or trying to be a ripoff of Jack, and that's not going to hit for people. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say that's
Yeah.
my hot take is, let's not
All right.
do the same story.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I reckon that's it for this episode of the Party Chat. I reckon we're done.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, everyone, for coming along with us. Riding shotgun, one might say, through the chaos of Borderlands.
That's right.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's right. If you liked what you heard, make sure that you subscribe because we do come and hang out every week, talking games, having loads of fun. There's also the weekly news, the news chat, the news squad, and also Girl Pod on Mondays or Tuesdays, or it's Mondays. It's my Tuesday, but your Monday. So yeah, um, yeah. Make sure you leave us a review. Come and hang out in the Discord. We're always just talking games, having loads of fun. Um, I guess that's really it.
Yeah.
Nathan, where can everyone find you, my friend?
One hot dragon everywhere. And in the Gamer Social Club Discord, in the comments, the description below.
Amazing. And yeah, I'm F1 Gaming everywhere. F1 with an E. And that's it. So yeah, if you have you got a theory, a favorite gun, or a spicy take on Handsome Jack, make sure you leave some comments and we can hang out and have some more fun.
Absolutely.
But until next time, keep looting, keep laughing, and remember, it's not the size of your gun; it's how many elemental effects it has.
Peace.